begin our morning prayers this morning with Matovu on page 74. Matovu ohalecha Yaakov, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. We continue this morning with Ashrei on page 97.
אשרי אשרי ביתך, עוד ילוך סלה. אשרי העם שתחלוך, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו. תהילה לדוד, אברהם ממך אלי המלך, יערך שמך לעולם בארץ, בכל יום נבחך, יבוא שמך לעולם בארץ. גדול אדוני מעל מאוד, ולפתיעותו אין חקר.
דור לדור ישבח מעשיך, וגבולותיך יגידו.
הדר כבודותיך ודברי נפלאותיך אשיך.
וזמורותיך יאמרו, גדולתך אספרנה.
זכר כתיבך יביאו, וצדקתך ירננו.
חנון ורחום אדוני, ערך אפיים וגדול חסד.
טוב אדוני לכל, ורחם על כל מעשיו.
יודיך אדוני כל מעשיך, וחסידיך יברכוך.
כבוד מלכותך יאמרו, וגבולתך ידברו.
להודיע לבני אדם גבורותיו, וכבוד אליו מלכותו.
מלכותך מלכות כל העולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור.
סומך אדוני לכל הנופלים, וזוקף לכל הכפופים.
עיני כל אליך יסברו, ואתה מתלוי בתוכם בעיתו.
פותח את ידיך, ומשביע לכל חי רצון.
צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו, וחסיד בכל מעשיו.
קרוב אדוני לכל קוראיו, לכל אשר יקראו באמת.
רצון יראיו יעשה, ואת שבתם ישמע ויושיעם.
שומר אדוני את כל אוהביו, ואת כל הרשעים ישמיד.
תהילת אדוני ידבר אותי, ויברך כל בשר שום קודשו לאדם בעת.
ואנחנו נברך יה, מעתה ועד עולם, hallelujah. Continue with words of praise with Psalm 150, hallelujah, on page 100. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. El Becho, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Vigorotav, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Beteka shofar, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Betofu nachol, hallelujah. Bemikveta, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Shama, hallelujah. Betil Telecha, hallelujah. Betil Teleshama, hallelujah. Betil Telecha, Kol Hanshama. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol Hanshama. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kaddish on page 106. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה ועל מדי בחירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ובמכון ובחיי בכל בית ישראל והגעלה ובזמן קריב ימלו.
אמן.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה לאלה מכל וחטא ושירתה ושבחתה ולחברתה האמירה בעלמה ויאמרו. Continue with Baruch Hu. If you are able, if you feel like it, please rise. ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם האל.
Come on, and bless the one who blesses. Come, come all of you, come all of us, and bless the one who blesses. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם יוצר אור ובורא חושך עושה שלום ובורא את הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם יוצר אור ובורא חושך עושה שלום ובורא את הכל. סדרים מלא ברחמים ובטובו מחדש בכל יום תמיד מעשה בראשית מרת ממעשה אדוני אולם בחוכמה עשית מלאה הארץ בנייניך תתברך אדוני אלוהינו על שם מעשה ידיך ועל מאורי ראש עשית יפר וחסל האור חדש על ציון תאיר ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו. ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר המאורות.
אמן.
Please be seated if you have risen.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושילמתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשופך ובחומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בעיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohim, amen. We continue with Mi Chamocha, our words praising Adonai for our freedom and our constant reminder to continue to fight for freedom for those of us who are not yet free. שיר החדשה שיבחו גאולים לשמך על שפתיה, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צור ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל, ופדחנו ממך יהודה וישראל. גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. ברוך אדוני גאל ישראל. We continue with our Amida, a prayer that means to stand up, and it is our time to stretch and extend our bodies and to rise if we are able. We begin together our first three prayers, and then we continue each privately with the prayers on the page, with the prayers of your hearts.
Adonai אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, כומר חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדך ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, נראה הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחייך ברחמי רבים, סומך נופלים ועופר חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מלחמך בגבורות ומגדול אליו, מלך ממיט ומקיים ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. מקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, וקטוע יד נביאך, וכרז ואמר.
קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ כבודו.
אדיר אדירים אדוני, אדוני ומאדיר שמך בכל הארץ.
ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו.
אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו מלכנו, הוא מושיענו ישיענו, רחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
ימלוך לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
יפה ונאה, כששומעים השירה שלהם. טוב מאוד להתפלל ביניהם, ובשירה לעבוד את השם, ומשירת העשבים מתמלא הלב ומשתוקק. וכשהלב מן השירה מתמלא ומשתוקק ארץ ישראל. אור גדול, האזי נמשך ועולה, מקדושתה של הארץ עלה, ומשירת העשבים נעשה ניגון של הלב.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to our virtual Temple B'nai Or, my virtual background here, but all of you are bringing B'nai Or into your homes, connecting all of our homes around the world this Shabbat morning. So turn to the people around you, turn to the people out in cyberspace. Wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom right now. If you're on YouTube, put Shabbat Shalom into the comments. Introduce yourself, say where you are. The same here on Zoom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Great to be here.
Shabbat Shalom to the rest.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, kulam.
Shabbat Shalom. We love you, Danielle.
Daniela's me'amemet. You sing beautifully.
So friend.
Now mute yourselves,
Now,
people.
You look and sound beautiful.
Shabbat Shalom. Off the Hankin house.
Oy vavoy.
Amen. So now, friends, let's mute ourselves again as we welcomed each other this morning. Let's welcome the Torah into our community. So if you're in the Siddur, we turn to page 244. Please rise. Danielle, I want you to imagine a second that you're back in the temple on the bima. I know it is a beautiful day outside and you're outside in your backyard, but we never expected that we would still be in our homes right now. So I want you to imagine yourself on the bima. Imagine that I'm standing there with you, that right now your mom is not the cantor. She's a mom standing there with you and your dad. And it's such a blessing that you have your Saba there with you right now. Your family together around the ark. Now, while you're imagining you're on the bima, I want you to imagine also that bima is Mount Sinai. That we are standing at Sinai, ready to receive the Torah like our ancestors did. But it's not just our ancestors who received the Torah. Our rabbis teach us that it was all generations of the Jewish people who were there, those who came before and those who were yet to be. So I want you to imagine while you're standing right here with your parents and your grandfather, and maybe you can see your grandmother and your grandparents on the other side out on Zoom. I want you to imagine they're all there with you, stretching back generations. And then I want you to imagine stretching forward generations. That we're all here to witness you receiving the Torah. The Torah that's not just the scroll that your mom is holding, the Torah that is our way of life, that is our wisdom, that is our stories, that is our idea of an ideal society. That this is a gift to you, that we are giving you, that we have trained you to receive, and that it will be a gift, God willing, someday that you will pass on. So I want you to embrace this gift.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu Gadol, Adonenu Kadosh, Shema.
Before we hear the words of Shlach Lecha, Danielle will be teaching us her words of Torah to introduce the Torah portion.
In this week's Torah portion, Shlach Lecha, God instructs Moshe to send 12 spies to scout the land of Israel. The Torah gives us two different versions of the story, but they both have the same idea. Both stories state that there were 12 spies, one from every tribe, that God trusted to scour the land and make sure the land is suitable for Bnei Israel. The spies stayed for 30 days, and when they came back, they brought ripe fruits and described how beautiful the land is. In addition to this, they also explained that other peoples lived there, and they would not survive long there, because the other peoples living there were mightier. But not all spies thought negatively. 2 of the 12 spies thought that the land was great. The Israelites still panicked and protested against God's plan to enter the land. They dreamed of their lives back in the security of Egypt, and that made God very angry. God's punishment was 40 years of wandering so that a new generation could enter the promised land. Many rabbis and teachers have tried to understand God's anger and the spies' sin. An early rabbinic interpretation says that the people were punished because they engaged in the sin of lashon hara, slander and gossip. They did not learn from Miriam, who was punished for the same mistake. There are other opinions, like how Rabbi M. Schneerson says they were not allowed to go to the land because the spies held information from the people, meaning they only gave a negative view. Or the opinion of Rabbi Morris Adler. They were not allowed to go to the land because they used subversion. They misused the power they were given, and they used Bnei Israel's pain against them. This means the Israelites looked up to the spies, and they needed them as leaders. They were a people in pain, and they needed leaders to build them up, which they didn't. Instead, the spies said negative things about the land. God had given them and made the Israelites even more afraid. I think the people should have had a little more faith in God. I think this because the Israelites have seen God's power and what God can do for them. God has already parted the sea and brought 10 plagues on the Egyptians. That shows what God was willing to do for the nation. At the same time, I believe that God should have been a little easier on them. They had been slaves for many years before God saved them, which made them lose a lot of trust in each other. Sometimes it isn't as easy as parting a sea to gain back trust from a person who still holds on to pain from previous events. The spies' lack of trust in God led to a lack of trust in the people for God. The spies were the leaders of the people. A leader needs to inspire hope. Hope is the idea that we are all in this together and that the future can be good. For the Israelites to enter the land, they need hope. They needed to build leadership under trust in God.
So for the first Aliyah, I would like to invite my mom, Georgette, in Israel, and my dad over here to attempt to chant the blessing together, despite the technology. Ya'amdu. I would like to ask my parents in the name of in honor of our entire family, the entire Dadun Zawi clan. יעמדו מאיר בן עמוס וכמיסה וג'ורג'ט בת ישראל ושמחה לעלייה הראשונה. אמא, איפה היא? הנה. איפה היא? אמא?
Mom, fix your camera.
Good, and unmute yourself, Mom.
Mom, scroll the screen to the left and you'll
That's
see
it.
a button
I
that
did
says,
it.
Get the
there
screen.
you go.
I
Yalla,
did it.
go.
Okay, allez. ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר ברך בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
אמן.
Amen.
ויעלו ויצורו את הארץ ממתפרצין עד רחוב לבוא חמת. ויעלו בנגב ויבוא עד חברון ושם אחימי שישי ותלמי ילידי הענק וחברון. 7 שנים נבנתה לפני צוען מצרים ויבואו עד נחל אשכול ויחרטו משם זמורה ואשכול ענבים אחד ויסעו
עם הטעמים והכל.
ומן הרימונים ומן התאנים למקום ההוא קרא נחל אשכול אודות האשכול אשר קרצו משם
יש לנו פה מים?
ישראל וישובו מטור הארץ מקץ 40 יום.
ברוך.
אמא.
הנה, רוצה את הברכה השנייה עכשיו. נתנו לה לעלות כאילו כהנה.
Can everybody please mute yourselves? טניה, שומעים את כל ארץ ישראל. תודה.
אוקיי.
יאללה.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
אמן. יישר כוח. For Aliyah 2. I really want you guys to mute yourselves. Please, everybody, please mute yourself. Danielle has only worked on this for a year. For Aliyah 2, in the name of the entire Cohen clan, I would like to invite Lawrence, Jody, Jared and Joelle, Shelly, Brian, Jamie, and Talia. יעמדו אריה משה בן לוי ושמואל יהודי בת עטליה וברל שמואל לוי בן יהודי ואריה משה באלה בת יהודי ואריה משה רחל בת קלה ומשה יחיאל בן ליבי ושמואל מתנה בת רחל ויחיאל טליה בת רחל ויחיאל העלייה השנייה.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvorah.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. ויבואו אל משה ואל אהרון ואל כל עדת בני ישראל אל מדבר פרן קדשה ויושיבו אותם דבר ואת כל העדה וירום את פרי הארץ ויספרו לו ויאמרו באנו אל הארץ אשר שלחתנו וגם זבת חלב ודבש היא וזה פריה אפס כי הזעם היושב בארץ והערים בצורות גדולות מאוד וגם ילידי הענק ראינו שם עמלק יושב בארץ הנגב והחיטי היבוסי והאמורי יושב בהר והכנעני יושב בים
I don't know how to mute myself.
ועל יד הירדן.
Okay, reader number 2. Unmute yourselves. Unmute.
Sorry.
Good.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam v'tamid Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yay. Now I'm going to take off my mother's hat and I'm going to put on my cantor's hat and I'm going to say, please mute yourself right now. All of you, whether you're in Canada or in Israel or in New Jersey, mute yourself. Thanks. For the third Aliyah, in the name of the entire B'nai Or community, our beloved B'nai Or community, and the Goddessman RTW Academy community, I would like to call on Rabbi Michael Satz to lead us in Aliyah, the Aliyah. יעמוד הרב יקותיאל יצחק שמואל בן לייב וציפורה לעלייה השלישית.
ברוך הוא את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
אמן.
אמן. ויעש כלב את העם אל משה ויאמר הלא נעלה וירשנו אותה כי יכולנו חלה והאנשים אשר עלו עמו אמרו לא נוכל לעלות אל העם כי חזק הוא ממנו ויוציאו דיבת הארץ אשר טעו אותה אל בני ישראל לאמור הארץ אשר עברנו בה לטור אותה ארץ אוכלת יושביה היא לכל העם אשר ראינו בתוכה אנשי מידות ושם ראינו את הנפילים בני ענק מן הנפילים ויהי בינינו כחגבים וכן היינו ביניהם ותישא כל העדה ותיתנו את כולם ויבכו העם בלילה ההוא וילונו אל משה ועל אהרון כל בני ישראל ויאמרו עליהם כל העדה למדנו בארץ מצרים במדבר הזה לומדנו, ולמה אדוני מביא אותנו אל הארץ הזאת, לנפול בחרב, ראשינו וטפינו יהיו לבז, הלא טוב
לנו שוב מצרימה.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו, ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
And now I get to call our parents Ya'amdu Hechazan Galit Bat Meir v'Georgette v'Yosef Ben Shlomo la'Aliyah HaRevi'it.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
אמן.
ויאמרו איש אל אחיו ליתנה ראש ונשוב מצרימה, ויפול משה ואהרון על פניהם לפני כל קהל עדת בני ישראל. ויהושע בן נון וכלב בן יפוני מן אתרים את הארץ קרעו בגדיהם, ויאמרו אל כל עדת בני ישראל לאמור, הארץ אשר עברנו בה נטעו אותה, טובה הארץ מאוד מאוד.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
And now I get to call up the most magnificent child ever. Just kidding, everybody's magnificent. תעמוד הבחורה בת המצווה, דניאל בת גלית ויוסף, לעלייה לתורה.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
אמן.
ויוציאו אותו כל העדה אל מחוץ למחנה, וירגמו אותו באבנים וימות, כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף בטיל תכלת. והיה לכם לציצית וריתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטעו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים.
אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
koach, everybody.
Thank you.
Danielle.
Good. Mute yourself.
Beautiful.
Okay. Voy, cambito. For as long as I can remember, even as a little girl, the strongest feeling I've ever had was to become a mom. Having a family and the idea of continuity were always the most important goal I've had. And so I made a covenant, a brit, with a partner who wanted the same sacred goal. Alas, our journey to this goal was far from smooth or easy. Together, we experienced losses that we weren't sure we could survive. When your perfect soul finally emerged into life, your father and I couldn't even believe our eyes and our hearts. Just like many parents often describe, we were struck with the gift of love and gratitude that we never even knew we could feel. We both learned gratitude for the gift of life through a most uneasy road, and we will forever remember the gift that you have given to us to finally have the privilege and responsibility of being a parent. We can easily agree that you have been the most exquisite treasure of our lives, the fulfillment of our greatest plan, bigger than we are. Anyone who has been around me in the past week knows that I have been crying incessantly, not because of the stress or because of the tricky role of being Cantor and mom, but because watching you through this process has been nothing short of amazing. Truly an awe-inspiring experience, moment by moment. The challenges that were placed before you were both great and unique. I've watched you take the reins of our worship experience and handle the Torah scroll with such ease, as if it were an extension of your arm. We have observed this moment unfold in truth and splendor, and this morning you are a brilliant, shining star. The little baby I held in infinite gratitude with the big, beautiful eyes has always been deep in thought. And in a blink of an eye, you have blossomed before our very eyes into the woman you are today. You have led the congregation in worship and study of Torah, not for our sake, but for the sake of the teaching itself, Torah Lishma. Through these changes, they are the enduring truths for who each one of us is in our lifetime. Danielle Eden Simone, you are and always have been a character of infinite strength and gentleness simultaneously. On the one hand, you embody an ambitious drive and set goals with very high expectations of yourself. You demand perfection. In Kabbalah, we call that nitzach, eternity. You pursue justice and fairness until you convince those around you to see what's fair and what's right. On the other hand, you have an infinite capacity to love and empathize with those who can't. And you know how to soften, to really see the other, the weak. In Kabbalah, that's called hod, meaning splendor. It is an unbelievable gift to be able to let go from a place of compassion. Either way, you have always had an incredible capacity to articulate your thoughts and feelings with clarity. You taught so beautifully of the spies sent by Moshe to scout the land of Canaan. While all 12 scouts witnessed the same land of milk and honey, they came back reporting very different experiences. There are always different sides to every situation. In our own lives, you often teach us to see the complexity and richness of another perspective. I pray for you that as you grow, evolve, and learn, you continue to walk that delicate balance beam and that you find moderation in perspective. This is no small challenge for anyone who grapples with complexity at any age. In your 13 years, I've already seen you engage in deep reflection. And when you realize you have gone too far, you know how to return, to do tshuva, to apologize, to correct. You also know how to be present and hold people in their brokenness in a way that is healing and empowering. Jewishly, we refer to that quality as chesed. I pray that you may have chesed towards yourself as you do for others, because kindness, generosity, and mercy begin from within. I hope that as you grow, you'll deepen that capacity. Our people are commanded to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. Hi, Micah. They are a framework to find meaning and goodness. I believe that if you follow the contours of your heart or your intuition, you will follow in the right path. You have always wondered about why things are the way they are, fighting for what's fair. I pray for you that you continue to do just that. Do not take anything for granted and keep asking great questions. Do not be afraid to speak up and contest what is true and just. Danielle, you are on a fascinating journey. Today, we engage in rituals that our people have celebrated for 1,000 of years, perhaps never quite like this. When the child becomes an adult member of the Jewish community, essentially coming to the understanding that each of us is a part of something that is bigger than all of us. Yours is an ancestry of a rich, colorful tapestry of traditions from North Africa, the Mediterranean, and Eastern Europe. Your grandparents and great-grandparents immigrated and immigrated again, yearning for safety, liberty, opportunity, and community. Change and question are in your very DNA. You have an opportunity to take these memories and bring them into the future with clarity. You are the first generation in our family to have a bat mitzvah and the first to be brought up in Reform Judaism, a Judaism that instructs you to study the tradition and tasks you with making it meaningful and relevant. You can continue to bring the richness of your own personal story to it. I pray that we take this moment to bask in wonder and gratitude. You are loved and admired by everyone who is with us today. Today is your day. We love you so much that it hurts. And as my parents always say, at every Shabbat blessing for as long as I can remember, שתהיי בריאה, שתהיי חזקה, שאלוהים ישמור אותך ושתצליחי בלימודים. May you be healthy, may you be strong, may God watch over you, and may you be successful in your studies. We love you.
Friends, if you're able, please rise. Come to our Haftorah that is from the, you may be seated. We come to our Haftorah that's from the book of Yehoshua, the book of Joshua. Joshua, one of the 12 spies that Danielle spoke about, but one of the two that did not give the daunting report, who had faith that the people can enter into the land with God's help. This comes from chapter 2 of Yehoshua, where they start to scout out the land again, start to spy the land again. And the story focuses on a woman named Rahav. Rahav, who helps out these spies, happens to be a prostitute. But Rahav later tradition becomes one of the ancestors of King David. I think part of Haftorah is showing that those who we see as the outcasts in society are also full of love, also able to make a difference in the world. And our spies trust her, and she helps them enter into the land. So our Haftorah chanters this morning will be our Cantor Galit Dadun Cohen, also Danielle, also the new Rabbi Yael Dadun Naroditsky, and then Tanya Dadun Sur, and then finally Cantor Zoe Jacobs in London, not London, Ontario, London, United Kingdom.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'rata b'divrehem hanemarim b'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'Moshe avto u'Yisrael amo ובנביאי האמת והצדק.
אמן.
וישלח יהושע בן נון מן השיטים 2 אנשים מרגלים חרש לאמור לכו ראו את הארץ ואת יריחו וילכו ויבואו בית אישה זונה ושמה רחב וישכבו שמה.
ויאמר למלך יריחו לאמור הנה אנשים באו הנה הלילה מבני ישראל לחפור את הארץ. וישלח מלך יריחו אל רחב לאמור הוציאי האנשים הבאים אלייך אשר באו לביתך כי לחפור את כל הארץ באו. ותיקח האישה את 2 האנשים ותצפנו ותאמר כן באו אליי האנשים לא ולא ידעתי מאין המה. ויהי השער לזכור בחושך האנשים יצאו לא ידעתי אנה הלכו האנשים רדפו מהר אחריהם כי תשיגו.
ויהי העלתם הגגה ותתמנם בפשטי העץ הרוחות לה על הגג. והאנשים רדפו אחריהם לערך הירדן על המעברות והשער סגרו אחרי כאשר יצאו הרודפים אחריהם והמה טרם ישכבון והיא עלתה עליהם על הגג.
ותאמר אל האנשים ידעתי כי נתן אדוני לכם את הארץ וכי נפלה אימתכם עלינו וכי נמוגו כל יושבי הארץ מפניכם.
So a blessing with a slightly different melody than perhaps you're used to.
Yeah.
על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה שנתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל, אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך. יתברך שמך בפי כל חי, תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת.
Amen.
If you are able, please rise as we turn in page 256 in our Siddur to return the Torah to the Ark.
את חיי למחזיקים בה, בתומכיה מאושר דרכי נועם, בכל נתיבותיה שלום. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה, חדש ימינו כקדם.
Please be seated. Danielle, again, I want you to imagine yourself on the bima, and not just myself standing here, but my colleague, Cantor Jacobs, will be there too. I want to first wish you a mazel tov. Your teaching, your prayer, you inspired all of us this morning. It was a pleasure. It was an honor to study Torah with you leading up to this day. You taught us an important message about hope and faith. I want to pick up something else, another way to read the Torah portion. And that's that God was tricking the Israelites. This is a teaching from the Rambam, that it was all an elaborate ruse, that God knew that the Israelites were not ready to enter into the land, but God had to show them that they were not ready to enter into the land. And therefore, they had to come to realize that they needed these 40 years of wandering to prepare themselves so that the next generation can enter into the land, so that they can grow up from the life that they had as slaves in Egypt, so that they can create a holy community, a community based on justice and love. I like to think about this period, this 40-year period in the wilderness that takes up our book of Bamidbar, our book of Dvarim, as adolescence. Think about it like your life right now, Danielle. If you think about, the Torah can be read this way, as about a story of maturation. In the Garden of Eden, we were babies. Throughout the stories of our ancestors and then into slavery, we were little kids. Little kids don't have much choice. But here in the wilderness, we're adolescents. We're not quite the adults entering into the land. We're not the babies in the Garden of Eden that get everything, that we get all of our needs taken care of. Adolescence is filled with wandering, frustration, angst. I know you don't have any of those feelings, but you might sometimes. I'm guessing for you, but you could ask my kids. They might tell you it's hard to be a rabbi's kid. It might be hard to be a cantor's kid. But this wandering, this time in the wilderness is what prepares us to be an adult. So today, people often say, oh, you're a bat mitzvah, now you're an adult in our community. That's not actually true. We're not about to give you the keys and tell you to go get a job. It means that you're starting your process of becoming an adult. That you're starting your process to really think about, to really live in the mitzvot as a mature person, to know, to become your own in living the mitzvot through the choices you make for love and justice and mercy and beauty in the world. As I told you before the service, the tzitzit are there to remind us, and I'm going to speak more about that soon. It's a long haul, 40 years in the wilderness, but I know you showed us this morning that you have this maturity to continue to grow, to continue to learn, to continue to lead. Now, the Israelites never made it. And we never finish the Torah. We never read really chapter 2 with Joshua entering into the land. We only read bits of it. We start back over, meaning maybe we're all in the wilderness a little bit. We're always in a process of maturing, of growing into the mitzvot, making these right choices. So my prayer for you, my hope, my blessing to you is that you continue in this journey in the wilderness, which can be frustrating, but I hope you find the points of joy, the points of beauty, and I hope you share them, continue to share them with us. So it's now my honor to call on Cantor Zoe Jacobs.
So Danielle, Rabbi Satz has already shared such beautiful words of Torah. I just wanted to add a little bit more. I could not be more honored to have been asked to share in this moment of blessing for you on the occasion of your becoming bat mitzvah. And in fact, I wish I could see you all across my screen rather than seeing me, but I don't know that I have the technology to fix that right now. Danielle, when I think of you, I think of the incredible joy that you gave us as a baby and a toddler. You gave it to the entirety of the Cantorial school while your mum and I were students together. I think of the sweetness that you showed when I came to visit you and your family right after Naomi was born. I think of the gentleness, the humor, and the compassion that you showed when you, along with Naomi and Maya and your mum, were stuck in London in the airport after an incredibly long flight. And I think of your natural intelligence, your grace, and your interest in the world around you when we've traveled around London or spent time in Manhattan together. Even when you were young, you asked thoughtful questions, and your Devar Torah demonstrates that you continue to ask important and wise questions. Although you and I haven't had the opportunity to spend time together recently, even from this morning, I've seen that you have both the gift of not only an extraordinarily beautiful voice, but also your wisdom. And with those, you continue to radiate light and love into the world, which is even more critical at such a difficult time. You clearly take on anything that gets in your way. And with your grace and consideration, you surmount that challenge and you forge on ahead. It's a gift from which I dare to say that the spies in your Torah portion could well have learned. I know that you know the story incredibly well, and you even alluded to this part of the story in your Devar Torah, but just so that everybody's on the same page, one of the verses that you read, chapter 13, verse 33, you said the following. V'sham ra'inu et ha'nefilim. There we saw the Nephilim, which we sometimes translate as giants. There we saw the giants. Vanhi ve'einenu kahagavim v'chein hayinu be'eineihem. We looked like grasshoppers even to ourselves. and so we must have appeared also that way to them. In the eyes of many of our teachers, we're told that it's this very moment that is the worst sin for a generation of leaders. What's the sin, you might ask? Surely this is just a little bit of self-doubt. It turns out that in Torah, an inferiority complex, feeling like a grasshopper, not trusting yourself, is considered to be one of the greatest sins, because in doing so, we doubt God's role and strength in our lives. Am I suggesting that you should never have a doubt about anything? That you should never question yourself at all? No, that's not realistic. And actually, doubt can be a way of keeping ourselves safe, of thinking with care, and be the result of humility. But my blessing for you this Shabbat, Danielle, as you start a new part of your life's journey, is that you always trust yourself, that you find the space to really listen to your own inner voice, to trust the good within you, and to act on your own sense of what's just and right. That you find your own nigun shel halev, the beautiful melody of your heart, which you sang so beautifully for us earlier on. May you never feel like a grasshopper in the sight of others. May you always be surrounded by your own Joshua and Caleb, those who love you and would do anything to protect and help you, those who boost your bravery, your extraordinary family, your teachers, your friends. May you always hear more loudly the voices of strength, of optimism, of positivity, reminding that you can do anything that you set your mind to, reminding you that you are strong and kind, and that you deserve to trust yourself and to let yourself be seen. May you grasp every opportunity you can to share your light and blessing with the world, as you've done today. And may you always be surrounded by so many people who love you, both from near and from far. It's a huge honor to be able to join with Rabbi Satz as we ask for God's blessing upon you with the words of our tradition's most ancient blessings. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
And may the Eternal One bless you and protect you.
Yaher Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka.
May God's light shine on you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May you always be lifted up by the Eternal One. May you always walk in dignity with God. May God continue to bless you with the gift of shalom, the gift of peace. We all say, Amen.
Amen.
And now there's more blessing, a whole worldwide community of blessing. So I ask everyone in Danielle's extended family, please to rise as we give thanks to God for giving us life, for enabling us to reach this joyous occasion.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Please be seated. It's my honor to call on our congregant, Catherine Rosenthal, some words of blessing from the congregation.
Good morning. I am Catherine Rosenthal and am a former member of the Board of Trustees at Temple B'nai Or. Mazel Tov, Danielle, Cantor, Joe, Naomi, and Maya. I know this isn't how you originally planned this day, but it's a beautiful and true representation of Jewish spirit. Danielle, I had the pleasure of meeting you 10 years ago when you and Oliver were in the preschool class together. You were a wonderful addition to that class, and your family quickly became an important part of our community. Your parents, Danielle, are some of the best people I know. They are kind, wise, hilarious, and loving. I know those qualities aren't always obvious to you, especially during the last few months of forced family time coupled with preparing to become a bat mitzvah. Instead of focusing on the obvious challenges of the last few months, I want to take a moment to share a different perspective of you to our congregation. Besides being a B'nai Or congregant and family friend, I have also had the great pleasure of teaching you math and science for the past 4 years. You are the type of student every teacher wants in their class. You are dependable, diligent, and helpful. You are curious and eager to tackle the most complicated topics. Besides your obvious intellect, I am in awe of your kindness and compassion towards others. You are the first one in the room to offer to help your peers. When there is drama, and there is always drama in middle school, you try to mitigate the situation rather than adding to it. You do this all with grace and maturity. Judaism tells us that we should be good and kind, not for a reward, but because it is the right thing to do. You embody this commandment every day. This presentation is usually a time for the presenter to encourage the bat mitzvah to continue her Jewish education and to lay out all the exciting opportunities that lie ahead at B'nai Or. I have deep faith that you will continue your pursuit of Jewish education, not only because I know your mom very well, but I know that you are inquisitive and truth-seeking and willing to work hard to gain knowledge. Education for you, Danielle, is not something you simply check off a list. You have a passion and dedication to learning. Today marks the beginning of the next part of your Jewish educational journey. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and the entire congregation, I would like to welcome you as a full Jewish adult member of the Temple B'nai Or community. It is my absolute honor to know you and to have watched you grow into such a smart, articulate, kind, and compassionate young woman. Mazel tov.
Now, on behalf of another Jewish community that I'm proud to be a part of, the Goddessman RTW Academy community, it's my honor to call on Moshe Vachman.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and Mazal Tov to the Kadun Cohen family. Here from my backyard, I want to say, Danielle, that I am so impressed with you. And by the way, I agree with everything Mrs. Rosenthal said. Everything she said, it's absolutely true. So hello from here to the Israelis, to the Canadians, to the British, to the Americans, Sephardic and Ashkenazi. We're all Jews. We're all one community. So if you indulge me, I will say a few words in Hebrew, a few words in English, a few words in Moroccan for Meir and Georgette, my favorite Moroccans of all time. They are the ones that can speak a little Arabic with them. So we'll start with the Cohen family in Canada and in America. Mazal Tov to you. This is great. This is beautiful. To the Israelis, to the Dadun family, to Meir and Georgette, I will say in Arabic, Mbarak Mshaud, as we say in Arabic, which means Mazel Tov. It's the way to say it. And of course, Danielle, Mazal Tov Lach. ולכל המשפחה, את תלמידה טובה ומצוינת, ואת עובדת קשה, ואת מתוקה, ויש לך לב רחב, כמו רחב. את כמו רחב עם לב רחב. A wide, generous heart, and it is very sad that we cannot be together in the same place, but anyway, in September, we'll go back to school, and I promise to give you a present, like I do for every bar or bat mitzvah. And I want to say, as a person who has 5 sisters, I'm very proud of you. I know how much your parents, especially your mother, love women empowerment. And I want to give you a challenge. I know Rabbi Satz is going to love this one. And also Galit is going to love this one. So when we come back in September, you are going to be the first the first woman to wear a talit in every morning in the service. Yes, Galit is happy. Now wait, it doesn't end there. So now you're going to be a chalutza, a pioneer. You're going to be the first girl. You're going to inspire other girls in your class because there's so many of them. And then you will inspire your sister Naomi, who is going to take over after you graduate. And then, of course, Maya, Ktana, Hamuda, and she's going to do that. And we're going to start a movement of true equality, that you're not going to be just chazani to come to sing and whatever. You can do that, we know, but I know, wait, rega, לא להפריע. You're going to be, not only that, you're going to be a pioneer who leads a true equality and true leadership of banim vebanot at the school. So I want you to do that, and you, to me, encompass Yoshua, which is God's Redeemer, Kalev, like a heart, and of course, Rachav with the big heart. Also, I want to say personally that Temple Bnei Or is dear to my heart. This is where my wife and I got married with Rabbi Rasov, who I know is on this call many years ago. So this is great. It brings it all together. So Mazal Tov Danielle, Be'ezrat Hashem, I'll see you in September. And this is your challenge. And I'm sure your mother's going to make sure it happens, right?
Yay.
Toda. Yes, I want to point out one of my mentors, Rabbi Rasov, who is on the call and on our service this morning. I want to continue what Moshe was talking about tzitzit, because Danielle, you at the end of the Torah portion, you chanted those words beautifully about the mitzvah of tzitzit, that God commands us all to wear these, let's see if I get that, these fringes in the Torah. It says with a blue string tied around them, and it's presented not for the men, it's presented for everybody to wear these tzitzit. So what is this about? What is this mitzvah of wearing the tzitzit? Speak to the Israelite people and instruct them to make for themselves fringes on the corner of their garments throughout the ages. Look at it and recall all the commandments, the Torah says, and observe them so that you do not follow your heart and eyes and your lustful urge. Thus you shall be reminded to observe all my commandments and be holy to your God. I, the eternal, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I, the eternal, your God. So, okay, yes, we're called to be holy. We're called to live righteous lives. What do tying knots to our clothes have to do with that? In fact, the Rambam actually said, a person should always be careful regarding the mitzvah of tzitzit, of our fringes, because the Torah considered it equal to all the mitzvot and considered them all as dependent on it. So this one mitzvah is as great as the other 612. Now, the rabbis often say that about mitzvot, but what could it mean about tzitzit? Well, it's about, I think, I want to bring this interpretation. It's about physicality. We need physical reminders of things in the world. We need physical reminders for us to do things, I think. Like in the cartoons, they used to always tie a string around their finger to remind them of something. This is the Jewish string around the finger. But is it true? Do we really need physical reminders? Do I need to tie these fringes to remind me to live a Jewish life? To lead through the mitzvot? Well, ask anybody, do you really need an expensive watch on your wrist to tell you you need 10,000 steps a day? To tell you that you need to sleep 8 hours a night? No, you don't. And yes, you do. I should know with my because of my reason, because of hopefully a good heart, that I shouldn't be playing on my phone. I should be spending time with my kids. But sometimes I need a reminder. We all do. Our tzitzit are there to remind us. There's the story, a rabbinic story. I won't give the whole details, but tzitzit slap a rabbi in the face before he does something not good. Thus shall you be reminded to observe all my commandments and be holy to your God. The Torah portion says, to be holy. Something we strive for, although we can never fully get there. We're commanded to be holy. It's not that we are holy automatically. As Rabbi Shai Held writes, in wearing tzitzit, we are reminded of the task of our lives, to strive for holiness without succumbing to the dangerous illusion that we are already there. If you think that we're already there, that we are holy, that these strings have some kind of special powers, holy powers to them, that anything is intrinsically holy, we are committing the sin that our verses are implicitly forbidding, idolatry. Next week's Torah portion is Korach. And Korach leads a rebellion against Moses and Aaron. Seemingly, he says he has the people on his sides, telling them, saying that, Moses and Aaron, why do you think you're so special? All the people are holy. But Korach doesn't read the Torah. Holiness is not a state of being. It is something we strive for. The tzitziot remind us that we are to be holy, not that we are holy. Judaism is something that we always work at, just like our Fitbit tells us about our personal fitness and health. The Talmud teaches that one who is careful about the commandment of tzitzit merits greeting the Shekhinah, God's presence. When we look at the tzitzit, in other words, when we remind ourselves to live lives of goodness, that is where we experience God's presence. Many people think of the talit over the shoulders as being enveloped in the Shekhinah and being enveloped in God's presence. Can this feeling, can this scene of the tzitzit compel us to continually be in God's presence? This is something that we can strive for. This is why our tradition says that a person should always be careful regarding the mitzvah of tzitzit, because the Torah considered it equal to all the mitzvot and considered them all dependent upon it. Will we fall short? Of course, we're all wandering in the wilderness. But we have these things to remind us. We have our community to remind us. We have our young leaders like Danielle to remind us that we're all to strive to be holy. Shabbat Shalom. And so let us continue, let us begin to conclude our service on page 282 in our Siddur. If you're able, please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding, loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We now think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. The B'nai Or community It's in the period of Shloshim, the first month of mourning for Sandra Saltzman and Shelley Diamond. This week marks the yahrzeit anniversary of the death of Estelle Atkin, Lynn Bernstein, Edward Cohen, Ruth Shaw Epstein, Anna Goldstein, Edward Hochberg, Murray Israel, Ralph Kanders, Hilda Kasten, Sydney Ostrowitz, Elaine Rosner, Mabel Rossman, Bertha Rudd, Samuel Sains, Ray Samek, Abner Simmons, Michael Steiner, Hedwig Stern, Morris Tabachnikov, Milton Waldman, Shirley Wasserman, Saul Wiener, and Arthur Zisfine. If you're remembering someone, saying Kaddish for someone, please feel free to say their name, put their names in our chat. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for blessing. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabba, v'alma divrach chilutei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon, v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba v'varach ve'olam u'amei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal, shemei d'kudashah v'yichu. Ve'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, damiran v'ama v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, to our nation, to all the world, to which we say, amen.
Shalom b'merumav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. And so we conclude with Kiddush. If I can have my bat mitzvah come lead us in Kiddush. תמזוג לי יין בבקשה. פה. בואו אתן גם כן. תעמדי. בואי גם את. כן. הנה אבא ייתן לך, סבא ייתן לך יין. לא.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ולדורם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ולדורם. בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם לברית עולם. ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם לברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינבש, שבת וינבש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם לברית עולם.
על כן דרך אדוני את יום השבת ויקדשהו.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם,
Amen.
In l'chaim.
And we have our challah coming. Thank you, Alexis, for this. Now we're going to take it off. Shabbat Shalom. Yay!
Mazel tov. Shabbat shalom.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming. It was wonderful to see all of you.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. Thank you. You can unmute yourself now and make mayhem.
Mazel tov.